Okay, so a golf ball is being hit at 20 meters per second at a 30-degree angle from the top of a cliff. It's not known how high that cliff is. So that ball flies through the air and lands 3 seconds later. So it spends 3 seconds for its total flight time. So we're asked to find how high that cliff is. So firstly, listing everything we know. Well, we know that t is 3, and if we define up as positive, then acceleration is negative 10. We're working here solely in the vertical component. And so the vertical component of initial velocity will be through trigonometry 20 sine 30. And that will be a positive term because it's going up. And that in fact works out to be 10 meters per second. And so what we're left with is x. Now it's important to remember that x is displacement, not distance. So although the ball will cover more than x in its travel, the x term in the Zuvat equations is only displacement. So the x term will tell us the difference between the starting position and the ending position in the vertical component. So x will tell us the answer because it is displacement and not distance. So x is our unknown. So to solve this equation, we use x equals ut plus a half a t squared. And so we get 3 times 10, we get 30 minus 5 times 9, just put negative 10 in for a and 3 in for t, and so we see that x is negative 15 meters. So that means that this cliff is 15 meters tall. The next thing we can work out, what speed does the ball hit the ground at? So the ball is obviously going to come down and land at an angle, so it'll have a horizontal component and a vertical component. Because we're asked for speed, all we need to work out is the magnitude of this. So there will be a horizontal component and a vertical component to that right angle triangle. So working out the horizontal and vertical final velocities. Horizontally, because we know that acceleration is 0, then the final velocity equals the initial velocity, which through trigonometry from the original question we were given, which was 30 degrees and 20 meters per second. So you can see that horizontally the velocity equals 10 cos 30 degrees, and so in the horizontal component velocity is 8.66 meters per second. So the horizontal component of the final velocity is still 8.66 meters per second. The vertical component of the velocity, well, we know that x is negative 15, we know that a is negative 10, we know that t is 3, we know that u was 10, and we're asked to find v. So we have our choice of any of the Zuvat equations. I'm going to choose the simplest one, v equals u plus a t. And so you'll see that v is 10 minus 30, 3 for t, 10 for gravity. And so you see that the final velocity in the vertical component is 20 meters per second. So we can add that to our little triangle here. And so now, by using Pythagoras, we'll call this term here v. V squared equals 20 squared plus 8.66 squared. And so v works out to be 21.8 meters per second. Now, through any number of means, we could work out what angle that was to the horizontal. You may find questions that ask you to do that. That should be a theta. For this case, all we were asked for was the speed, and so we're happy with this.